The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
You're listening to the Struggling Artist Podcast.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction.
With your host, Trev Allen.
I wish to God that somebody would do something to block out the voices in my head for 5 minutes.
Hello, everybody. Today, our guest is Matt Pless. Matt is a musician and artist out of Maryland. He travels quite a bit, tours often. If you don't know Matt's music, you're about to get familiar with it. This was a great conversation. Stick around to the end of the episode to hear a brand new one. This is episode 341 of the Struggling Artist Podcast. Struggling with Matt Pless. Over 20 releases and over since like between 2008 and now maybe. Does that sound accurate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this? Has it been longer than that or?
I've been writing music since I was like 7, but like I've been putting music out, I guess, on the internet for, probably like 20 years now, maybe a little longer.
You said you've been writing music since you were 7?
Yep.
Wow.
I don't have any of those songs anymore.
Right.
My buddy ripped them up.
Yeah, when you were little kids?
Yeah, it wasn't cool to write songs once 4th grade hit and everyone started playing sports. And my one buddy wanted to make sure he used to he'd write some with me, and he decided that when the sports guys came over his house, he didn't want them finding the drawer full of songs that we had written and the little fake record albums I had cut out of paper with our band name on it. So he ripped them up, threw them away.
Oh, wow.
Now he loses because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame would pay him a lot for those one day. So
yeah,
sucks to be you, bro.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been creative your whole life then, it seems like. Did you grow up in a musical household? Like, what was it about music?
I have no idea how to answer that. I just thought it was cool. I like music. My dad worked in a radio station, and when he met my mom, they met around music. There was always music in my house. Like my dad would play records, my mom would play records. My mom would sing to me on the piano, play guitar for me. But I don't know. I never really was just like, I don't know. I just started doing it. It was always there, And I could always hear songs in my head, and I would write them down on paper and hum them or like sing them without an instrument. So I learned how to play guitar, and then started actually putting them to like actual like tape or recording. And yeah, that was kind of how it went.
Yeah. Now, did you play more than one instrument? How many instruments do you play? Do you play a bunch of them? Or?
I play the harmonica, and I play guitar, and that's about it. I don't know. I think I can figure out how to make a song on anything. I think a musician plays instruments, and an artist can make a song out of anything. They don't have to necessarily know how to play it. I'm an artist, not a musician.
Yeah. Do you so when the songs come to you? Because I listen to a lot of your music, and like I hear like you have all these different sounds going on, and like depending on the song. So does each song come to you separately, or do you work on things at multiple times? Because like, so I write, and like I'll write a few different things at the same time, just so I don't like just because when the ideas come, I have to write them down. So, but the other side of it is like I'll hop if I'm working on something like steadily, and I feel like I'm getting too stagnant with it. I don't want to force it, so I hop onto something else. Like, how is that with the songs? Like, with you hearing things, and you know what I mean?
Usually they come like two at a time. I don't really, I just kind of wait for the feeling that like this is a good song to start writing, and it's like I guess instinct or whatever. I don't know, but they'll usually come like two at a time. And I'll finish one and have this other one kind of sitting there, and then I'll start working on that one. And once they're done, I just don't have any interest in writing anymore until the next like inspiration hits me. I'll do other stuff like paint or draw or like write other things in between writing songs. But yeah, once it happens, it's just like boom, done. Okay, like.
Yeah. Because I know, like, so some songs, like, you'll have, it'll be, like, real folky. Some will have, like, that rock and roll, like, Americana feel. Some will have, like, a jazz vibe. You know what I mean? Like, is that all stuff that you figure out, like, does that happen right away with what you want, or does that kind of get fleshed out as you move along?
Well, I'm possessed by several different demons.
Okay.
I can't tell what they're going to tell me to play.
You've got all this music. You tour constantly, right? Do you ever stop? Do you ever take a break from touring, or do you just kind of stay on the road?
Yeah, when I ran out of gas.
When you
No, I mean, I generally try to stay active playing music as much as I can. But like, I mean, I used to go on like 2-year-long tours, and I don't do that anymore because like, I don't know. It's just like I'm trying to make my tours more like organized at this point in my life. Like instead of playing like 60 house shows and like a field parties and whatever, like over the course of like 3 months, and then trimming weed in between so you can like make extra money, and basically just being a bum and just playing music as an excuse to travel. No, but that's not why I do it. But nowadays I try to like actually have like more like the last decade I'd say has been more like organized touring versus like just kind of going out there and being crazy and traveling, which is what I did in the very beginning.
You still travel quite a bit though for that, right? Even with the organized stuff.
Well, there's a lot of demands for me to appear.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
You gotta keep up.
No doubt. Yeah, that's cool. So tell me a little bit about like you and your music and like kind of like what you do. Like, how does it all work? How does it all fit for you? For me, like writing is like my way of getting out everything. Like when I learned how to like do creative writing when I was a kid, I was probably 8 years old. I wrote a stage play when I was 8 years old, and like from there I just kind of like I learned like that's how that was my vehicle to get out what I was trying to say, like emotionally, you know what I mean? So that's how I've always been able to. So like now as I gotten older, like like kind of like what you were saying with your buddy when you were young, like it wasn't cool to write, right? So I didn't write. I did play sports, and I did do this, and I did do that, and like it was just like I had this constant like pit inside of me, and I couldn't figure out why I was always like miserable or depressed, or you know what I mean? And I have no way of communicating that because the writing was what I did. So like writing for me is like the biggest part of my life. Like it has to be like it's helped me be able to speak, to be able to voice myself. Even like vocally now, like I can do that. At 43, I'm finally able to talk. But like I guess what I'm saying is like for you, like what does music do for you in that aspect of like your life, like everyday life? I mean, are you constantly hearing things? You know what I mean? Hearing the jingles and the riffs in your head, or like it just kind of comes and goes, or
I mean, it definitely comes and goes. There's periods where I'm writing a lot, and other periods where I'm just like not getting stuff that I'm interested in, like putting onto like paper. So it does come and go, but like if I hear a line in my head or something, I'll always write it down. So I'm always like collecting stuff. So I guess it's an ongoing process of sort of just trying to find the pieces of the puzzle that are floating around, and then you collect them all in a box, and then like one day they all come together to form a picture. But like I don't know when that time is going to be when they form a picture, and you also don't know when the time is that you're going to get the pieces. So like you just got to kind of have like an antenna going and wait for it to come to you at all times. That's the best way I could describe that, I think.
And then so like do you do Do you write for an album, or do you just kind of like write songs and then they become a collection of songs, and then you piece the ones that, you know what I mean, that fit together better to make that album?
I only wrote an album once, like for an album. But I usually just kind of write songs and then put them together as a collection. I've never really been like, this is an album, except for this one time, this album called Call It Art that I did, which is a very specific type of sound. That is that album that I kind of wrote everything for that. But I've only done that like one time. Mostly I'm just like a songwriter that puts songs into a collection when the time comes.
They usually, I mean, the stuff that I've seen that's put out there as an album, like the collections that you have out there that do that, there's definitely there's like a vibe. It's what I like about it is like you have different sounds. Like I said, like you might have one song that's a full on rock song, and the next song could be a folk song, and but what I like about it is like the whole album still kind of flows.
Cool. Glad you got that.
Yeah. Because so I mean, is that must be your song arrangement, right? What you're doing to make sure, or is it just you just throw it together and it just happens to be that way?
I mean, some of it's arranging it the right way. I try to just like arrange it so it sort of has a flowing feel. But I'm not always sure if I do that correctly. So I appreciate that you noticed that it works. So that's cool. Yeah, you know, I mean, I'd kind of just, I'd say that the song's just kind of like you want to kind of like, I guess have a good sequencing is what they call it.
And then lyrically, your lyrics are awesome too. Like I was reading, the latest single I saw on Bandcamp was "Troubled Times."
Oh yeah.
And every song is telling a story here. You know, you paint quite the picture with your music.
Thanks.
Yeah, so can we talk about like how lyric, like where do you get your ideas for your lyrics, or?
It's kind of like you have to be in a specific state of mind, I think, and I'll get like a little burst of dopamine when I like just a lyric pops in that I think is cool. It's like a little buzz, like zip, and like that's cool, and I usually just get them by either just like playing guitar and like mumbling into the air until like the mumbles form lyrics in a melody, or I'll have them, like I said, collected in like my phone or in a book, and I'll have written down like lines or words that just come to me that sound cool, and then arrange them all together. It's like an ongoing thing. I don't know where it's like they just pop in, you know, like, I mean, I could write about like that speaker over there, but that'll be a very specific sort of like, you know, descriptive writing, like just having like a line that comes in there that isn't about anything in front of you. I don't know where that comes from. I think it's just subconscious stuff, like just, you know, being alive and aware in the world and the space you're in, like whatever's going on around you will sort of like form its way into your writing. And I think a lot of those lines that are very visually descriptive about things are coming from, you know, a place that isn't necessarily contained.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, let's talk about what you're doing for touring now. Do you travel with a band at all, or no?
No. I mean, I would if I could afford to pay them.
Yeah.
Kind of expensive these days, and you gotta get people to get off of work, and you know,
it's hard to get it all arranged, right?
Yeah, but the minute I sell out and get paid back, I'm gonna take the bag and go on the road with the band.
That's what it's all about.
I'm going on tour actually with a band for like 10 dates coming up, but it's a band that is also a band called Milk Street. That's not like my backing band; they're their own separate band. So we're touring together for like 10 dates, and they're going to play backing instruments for me for those shows too, because they're already going to go on the road with me. So it's very convenient in that sense. But yeah, normally touring with a full band is very difficult. And, you know, I mean, like, I don't mind doing the solo stuff. A lot of times people say they just rather see me solo, which is kind of wild. Usually it's the other way around. So, and I don't mind playing solo. Sometimes it just gets boring and you want to, you know, rock out a little bit or have the songs be expressed in a different kind of like form. But, like, you know, I do all right just by myself. People seem to get into it. Like, I've had mosh pits and stuff for just acoustic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. And also you save money, and, you know, you don't get crammed in by too many people. Like, if somebody wants to go see, like, the Grand Canyon and somebody else just wants, like, you know, to go to, like, the mall, you don't have to worry about splitting that time up. Like, I can just go to the Grand Canyon if I want, you know. I don't have to worry about what anybody else is doing. I do like that freedom, you know. And, like, yeah, you know. I'm kind of a loner, like, when it comes to that. I like just driving and listening to the wind and just forgetting everything in my mind in silence. So
yeah, it's cathartic, right?
yeah, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't tour with a band. I just wouldn't. I would never give up touring solo completely.
Yeah.
And if I could, I'd fly my own jet and have the band go on a bus.
I think about that. So like I had a job, I had a business, a small little business where I travel quite a bit with, and like I was always, I know when I was younger and I was growing up, like I in my early 20s, like I move away and then come back home. Like I was always the one that I was the wanderer, of like my whole family, and like so when I had this business and I was able to kind of travel around the country a little bit, I did it, and then I came back to Massachusetts for the second time. So I'm not even from Massachusetts originally, but I've been here twice now, and now I was like, all right, I think of this as home. And the older I've gotten, like life on the road just isn't for me anymore, and I miss it sometimes. But like other times, I'm like, oh wow, like I have a bunch of stuff now that I've never had before. So like the older I've gotten, it's been hard for me to accept that I can't just get up and grab my dog and just take off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that.
If I was if I was able to tour with my art, like I would. I'd find time. You know what I mean? I feel like artists are always going to, no matter the circumstances, they're always going to find time to do what they love and get their art and creativity out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're like an artist and it's like your true thing, like you're gonna have to find a way to make it happen to some degree. Like you'll go crazy if you don't make room for it in your life somewhere, no matter like how that looks, based on where your life is at. So yeah, I agree with that. What was your favorite place in the country when you were traveling?
Oh man, I've been all over the place, but like I really, Washington always called me.
Oh,
it was my stepfather was from there, and I went out there for a couple different jobs like that. Before I even had my business, and like we almost moved there when I was a kid, and then there was a couple times where I thought I was gonna move out there and I just didn't. But like it was that to me that place was like just beautiful. Like just the air was fresher. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I will say I was down in Tennessee for a time, and like I'm a coastal kid, so I felt like not having, and this is weird, but like I felt like not being near a coast, like I ached a little bit more, and like not having that salt in the air, and you know what I mean, like.
Mm-hmm.
So like I used to have to like I started like soaking my feet and have some salt like an old man, because I was just like I felt like I just wasn't, I don't know, I just didn't feel right not near the coast, because where I was nowhere near the coast, so
Gotcha.
But I was in Pennsylvania for a time, and I would travel all the way down to West Virginia, and then like up to like almost New York through there as well. And like so my business, like I had a little logistics business, and I was just delivering shit all over the place for people, so so I guess to answer your question, I did come back to Massachusetts, right? So Massachusetts might be my favorite spot. I don't know. It could be the misery of New England that I love so much, but yeah. But what about you? Like, what about when you're traveling? Like, what was
Kerouac, Massachusetts, right?
What's that?
Jack Kerouac's from Lowell, Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, I think so. Holy shit! I never even realized that. On the Road is like one of my favorite books.
Yeah, well, it's on brand for you then to be all about Massachusetts. They got that turtle statue down there too. Right?
Yeah, in Worcester. Yeah,
we don't get into that. But
yeah. Right. What about you though? Like, what have you liked? Like, what has been your favorite place to travel to, and what would you like if you had to find a place to go and like be like, that's it? Where would it be?
Man, you know what? I don't know if it's necessarily a place that I would go at this point. It's always kind of been like the people around me. I can find home with like people. Anyway, if the people I love are around me and people I make friends with and stuff, I could probably be okay just about anywhere. But as far as scenery and stuff, like I love Denver and like Colorado, Grand Junction, like all that kind of Durango. Colorado is really cool. Although it's landlocked, it's just got really beautiful imagery. There's the mountains and just the fresh air and the skies, the clouds like acid all the time. Like it's just like really cool. I'd say on the West Coast, I'm not a big fan of like LA and all that like Hollywood stuff, but like I do like the beaches and like the crashing waves, the Pacific, when it gets to the Pacific Northwest, there's really the cliffs and all really pretty. And sometimes, honestly, like I totally dig just like being in the middle of some weird like Texas Chainsaw Massacre like town in the middle of just like some place you're just like, this is like where they still beat snakes, like. So like that's kind of like I like that kind of stuff. Just like Middle America, just like that old weird like Americana vibe, like that stuff's cool too. But like I mean, Baltimore's where all my like friends and like family are, and I like seafood, so it's cool to come back here.
You know what? I was thinking about it while you were saying that. I really liked, and this sounds strange. I really liked Saginaw, Michigan.
What's it again?
Saginaw, Michigan.
Oh, I've never been there.
Yeah, it was like Saginaw. It was like actually anywhere up there, and if you go up in like the Upper Peninsula, it just snows way too much. And like I live in New England, and I'm thinking like I saw some snow when I was there. But like the thing about Saginaw was like the city, like these old architect buildings, they're beautiful, but they're like all abandoned. There's no one there. Like there's no one because of once the automotive industry pulled out and all those big industries pulled out of Michigan, like a lot of places just went empty. And like I remember I met a kid there who was like 19, and he said he was going to pay his house off at the end of the year. I'm like, what? And he bought a house for like $40,000. Like you could buy property there for dirt cheap because there's nothing there, Mm-hmm. So I like that. I kind of like I like being secluded, but I also like being near things, and I think that's why I am where I am. Because like I'm in a little town, but I'm close to Worcester. I'm close to Providence, and I'm close enough to Boston. You know what I mean? So
do you like lobster?
Yeah, lobster's pretty good. Yeah,
I like lobster. I also like New York City. I mean, I lived in New York City for a bunch of years, and I do like New York City. I lived in New York City as a broke person, and I think I did everything you can do in New York with no money. I think I would only like to live back in New York if I had a lot of money, and I could just like do everything you can do in New York with money.
Yeah, right.
That would be the catch that would have to get back to New York.
Yeah. You already completed that game on hard. You want to complete it on easy now.
Yeah. Limousines, movie stars.
I always said I could live anywhere, and like, but where I was in Tennessee was too rural. It was a little too rural for me, and it was like.
I bet you can't live in Gary, Indiana.
Probably not. I've heard of that place. That's inhabitable, right? You can't live there, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much a ghost town, but like.
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you.
But. I also think because I've lived in like smaller cities, and I don't think I'm one for cities either. Like I need to have both close by. I feel like I need grass. I need to be able to step in grass in my bare feet and not have to walk like miles to go get it. I think that's my problem with. That's my problem with New York. Is like it's kind of like it's just too many people. I don't know.
Yeah, and New York's very, very condensed. I do like the energy in New York. The energy is just like you're always amped up and just going. And I do like that kind of like high energy stimulation. It kind of keeps me sane. It's like just living in a big like in just this big like state of Adderall.
It's just floating in the air.
Like you're just breathing in amphetamines and it chills me out.
Yeah, I hear you. So when you record music and you have multiple instruments, are you using the same people, like the same personnel for like recording, or do you just hire session musicians to hop on, or friends just hop on, or?
I keep them all locked in my basement, and when it's time to come out. No, my brother plays drums on most of my stuff. He plays drums, so he's usually just like there to like call him up. He'll do it for free, so that's cool. But like, there's been a kind of a wide range of different musicians playing on most of my stuff because it just depends on who's available, and also depending on what instruments you need. But yeah, I also think there's something to be said about having a steady band that you can just like play and woodshed out, in like a garage, and just really get the songs down and like kind of gel with each other. But that takes time and like availability, and like the personnel, and them being like good enough to really like match your vibe and sound. And with coming and going and touring and stuff a lot, and generally just being a predominantly solo artist, it's a little harder to get that situation to come into fruition.
Yeah. I hear you. There's one song. What was the song? I was listening to. There's one song. It's got this big rock and roll piano in it. It was like, I want to say it's like one of the last tracks on. Let me see. Is it this one here? I think it was one of the last tracks on Cheap Shots on the Rocks.
Oh, it's called Cheap Shots on the Rocks.
Yeah, it's the last song. Yeah. That was like again, like as soon as I wasn't looking at it while I was listening, and I'm like, oh, this has to be the last song because it has that grand piano. Like it's almost like it's winding. It's so, you know what it reminded me of? Like you're at like an old time kind of like saloon, and it's winding down. It's closing time. You know what I mean? And the song comes on.
That's what I told the piano guy to make it sound like an old barroom saloon.
No, right on. And it's like the whole song is just like it's just happy. It's like an upbeat song, but like it's like getting people like kind of like corralling people. All right, it's over. It's time to go, kind of thing. But like leaving them in a good mood, right?
Well, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm very happy.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's a breakup song. It's a breakup song. Like, I guess one of the things to touch back on something you asked earlier about songwriting process, I think sometimes I do get some sort of comfort in writing about negative things in my life with a happy melody or like sarcastic kind of lyrics. That does help me, I think, sort of deal with that kind of thing. Not to be all artsy, but like, yeah, that's
no. I mean, it matters, dude. All that shit that matters. Like, and I feel like when you can kind of put an upbeat melody to something, like it's almost like giving someone bad news, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, so,
yeah, it's like you want to make sure the doctor's like cool when he tells you you're going to die.
Right, yeah. You want to be able to dance, like so. But yeah, no, I like that, and like like I write real bleak shit, right? And I always look at my writing. So like I'll listen to a band that has like kind of like a similar style of lyrics, but like again, like it's got an upbeat or it's just something like it's got that thing to like it's the delivery of the message, right? It's like so it's a breakup song that you could kind of dance to, right? And like have a good time with. But like getting it out, I'm sure like getting to that process might be hard. You know what I mean?
Well, that song, it took me like 20 minutes to write, but like 2 years to live it because like it was about this kind of relationship that was like pretty bad towards the end of it, middle towards the end, and I happened to have learned that chord progression. That's that jazzy chord progression that you hear in it. I just learned that, and I was like, oh, cool, this is something fun. I'm going to write a song with this. I just decided to write a song because I discovered the chord progression, which is kind of what got it going. And, the lyrics just kind of came through after that. And I thought, like, the line Cheap Shots on the Rocks is kind of funny because it's like a play on, like, throwing cheap shots at each other if you're fighting and when your relationship is on the rocks. But it's also, like, cheap shots, like, on the rocks, ice.
Yeah. For sure. All right, so I'm gonna look real quick here at the flyers you sent me, so we can kind of give people an idea where you're gonna be.
Sure.
Let's see. So the first one here, you're going on the road with the Cheap Shots.
Oh yeah, well that's what I call my backing band. The Cheap Shots.
Okay. All right, here we go. Yeah. Okay. Matt Pless and the Cheap Shots, and we've got shows starting on the 25th of this month, April. You're gonna be up in Maine, man. Yep. I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah, you're gonna be up in Maine. All right. Orono. You're gonna be in Orono, Maine. Dover. You're gonna hit Providence, Rhode Island.
Up in
Scranton.
your area.
Yeah, right up the road. Really. Yeah. I gotta see if I'm working that weekend.
Cool.
Let's see. Providence, Rhode Island, Scranton, PA.
Scranton, yeah.
And then, where's after that? New York. You're gonna be in New York. Binghamton.
Oh yeah, Binghamton. Yeah.
There we go. Buffalo. Oh, then you're going up to Buffalo. You're going up and down, huh? You're going.
Yeah, I love Tim Hortons. We're gonna get Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
I'm not a big fan. It's got a good breakfast burrito, but the donut stuff.
Let me tell you, Tim Hortons took over Rhode Island for a little while.
Really?
Yeah. So there was a yeah. Here we go. We're gonna sidebar real quick. There was a local chain to my hometown. I grew up in a town called Westerly, Rhode Island, and there was a local donut chain called Bess Eaton Donuts, Bess Eaton, Eaton Donuts, and this guy he took over, like, I mean, Dunkin' Donuts, like, we didn't care because we had Bess Eaton everywhere, right? So it's like if you go to the South Shore of Boston, they don't care. They don't care about Dunkin' either. They have Mary Lou's or some shit like that. But anyway, so they were all over my town, and then, I mean, literally, like, they're on the same street, you know what I'm saying? And then they were into Connecticut, most of Connecticut, and a little bit into, like, the beginning of Massachusetts, like in the like up by Providence. Mm-hmm. You know, the guy had issues, whatever. He sold the business to Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons came in, they opened up every one of his stores, became a Tim Hortons, and then there was like 2 left. They did not last long. Oh, New Englanders do not like Tim Hortons coffee. They just don't like it.
Who does? I mean, that's where they all are. They're not anywhere else in the country. So I guess people just aren't into Tim Hortons. Like, unfortunately, I'm a Dunkin' guy personally. I like Dunkin' better.
I'll drink Dunkin'. There's a couple local places I'll get that's strong.
I've never been to Bestie's Donuts, so I might like that the best, but I haven't been there.
I think they ended up reopening too in my hometown, like but under a different owner, They just kept the name, you know. So,
I'm not a Starbucks fan at all.
No. Sorry. So you're in Buffalo, New York on the 30th of April, and then you're gonna hit up Pittsburgh. Okay. Mm-hmm. I spent some time in Pittsburgh, right outside.
Pittsburgh's great.
I wasn't able to give it a chance because I got there right a few months before COVID. I was traveling the entire few months, and then when I came back from traveling is when COVID hit. So I didn't even really get a chance to get out there. But I have some friends out there that I met after the fact. That it seems like a pretty good place for rock and roll music, you know.
Yeah, the food's really good too.
Yeah. Youngstown, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
May 2nd. All right, and then that one wraps up on May 3rd in Cleveland. All right, that's a nice one. Now this is you and the Cheap Shots, and then
Milk Street. Yeah, that's the band. That's the band that's touring. We're doing this 10 days together out to Moonrunners Festival, and then after that I'm going out. After that, I go out this guy Littlefoot for like a month.
Yeah,
and that goes all the way. Yeah, it goes all the way down. That's just me solo. And me and him are playing solo sets. And then once we get to California, he drops off, and I go up the coast myself and head back east myself. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Man, so you still. When you're like, I do more organized traveling, that you do, but it's still a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, well I just meant like I'm playing mostly like clubs and bars now versus
clubs and bars now. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, like instead of box cars.
Yeah. I got you. Let's see. Do you know the? I'm just looking right now for my own self. Let's see. Do you know where you're playing in Portland, Maine, or in Warren, Rhode Island?
I don't think those got booked. I think my agent didn't get those done. I think he said there's days off. So.
Oh, okay. I just happened to see those two, and I was wondering because.
No, we're getting lobster.
Yeah. Get a lobster roll, right?
Yeah.
Right on, man. Right on. Cool. Where can people find your music? Where can they find you on social media, your website, all that stuff?
MattPless.com. You know, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all this stuff. You know, I mean, we got Google and like all that. You just look up MattPless.com and you should be able to find everything you need to know.
And new music this year?
Yeah, I have an album coming out. It's just it's a process of getting everything together. Right now, the album art is being designed, and that's taken a minute from the person doing it. But once they're done that, we're going to drop it. I'm releasing a new single on the internet exclusively, probably this week, with a full band playing with me. It's called The Day They Come For You, and that'll be coming out very soon. I don't know when this airs, but like it might already be out. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff like coming down the line, so there'll be a lot of music coming.
Cool. Is the new album going to be on vinyl?
Yeah, it's going to be on.
I see you've got quite a bit out there for vinyl too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, everybody wants the vinyls these days. You know, it's like vinyl is like. Vinyl's cooler, you know. I mean, it's just a neater format. I think it's more fun. You know, different color variations, and it's bigger. You can see all the artwork, and they're collectible. The problem is they're just like so expensive to press these days. They're like,
and who knows with these tariffs that are going on too, like.
Yeah, the vinyl tariffs. I guess they could affect it in Canada or whatever. We usually get. There's a Canadian company that I would order vinyl from. I forget the name of it, but I've done a couple of things to there. Also, United Record Pressing, I think it is one I've done through. Furnace Records. This was funny. Furnace Records is Metallica owns that one. And,
really?
Yeah, Metallica owns it, and they're making you buy 500 copies of vinyl. You can't get less than that. So I'm like, wow, man, you guys, since Metallica bought a share in this, like they're really forcing you to spend more money. I don't want 500. I want like 200, like I did before. They're snaking me here, man.
There's places out there where you can still get 200 from. So.
Oh yeah. I pressed through them before, and the repress of this record, like they're saying I have to get 500 if I want to repress it with them. So
crazy. That's crazy. That's insane. Like. When COVID happened, and like I feel like vinyl has always been a thing, and I've been collecting vinyl for years, and like I feel like when COVID happened, that's when all like everybody started like buying like repressings of all these like the big commercial bands, and like it really screwed with things. And then you had like there was like a pressing plant fire of like one of the one of the only fucking pressing plants that does this shit had a fire, and like I remember ordering a record, and it was like a year turnaround to get it because of that. Like it's no one's fault. It's just like, but they kept pushing off all these indie artists to repress this Megadeth record or this Metallica record, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I wished it was.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a most valuable record of your collection?
I don't have a most valuable record. I do have a few that I hold near and dear to my heart.
Which one of those?
Friends records. There's one behind me, the yellow one. That's the Ducky Boys last. That's the Ducky Boys record, Dark Days. And then like I got some test pressings. They're above that. I turned out to be a collector. I didn't want to be. I just wanted to listen to them. But so like I ended up finding things like I have one of my records I've got. I was in a record club for a long time, and then the guy who owns it, like we're friends, and he ended up asking me to take it over. So I have the record club now. So like I've got some records from early days of that I consider near and dear. Like the Drowns' first record, and this band Coffin Salesman's first record I got from there. And these are all people I became friends with later on in life, which is weird, Cool.
So. Well, I'll send you a record.
I'll gladly pay for some Matt Pless vinyl, dude. Don't worry about it. Appreciate you, though. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Matt, man, this was awesome. Thanks for coming on. When the record comes around, if you wanna go over the record, come back on and talk about the record. Let me know. We'll set something up.
That'd be rad.
Much appreciated. Just get out there, man. Keep making your art and keep sharing it with the world, dude.
Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the podcast. This was fun.
Of course.
Catch you later.
All right, that's the show. I want to thank Matt again for being today's guest on the Struggling Artist Podcast. In the show notes, you will find all links to Matt Pless. If he's touring in your area, be sure to check him out. And if he's not, I'm sure he'll be there eventually. He tours nonstop. Thank you to Chris Chavez, Jeff Bousquet, and Arya Rad for being part of the Struggling Artist production team. Give them a follow over on the Instagram. You can find Jeff at JRBImage, Chris at 716 The Sound, and Arya at Coffin_salesman. Thank you to Mark Lind over at State Line Records for sponsoring the podcast. As always, thank you so much, Mark, for everything you do for us. And head over to StatelineRecords.com. See what he has on the label. Pick up some records. See, I think he's got some CDs, too, if you prefer that. Thank you to my boys in Losers Circle for always allowing us to use their song, The Great Illusion of Time, off of their album, Took Long Enough. You will find a link to their Bandcamp on our website, in our link tree, maybe even on one of our social medias, if not all. Just go to Bandcamp, search for Losers Circle, and grab their album. It is absolutely phenomenal. Everybody supporting us over at Patreon, I thank you so much for all that you do. Your contributions do not go unnoticed, and it allows us to get on these projects and do events, and we try to do as much as we can for the patrons over there. If you want to see what we have going on, go to patreon.com/podcast TSA. Be part of the Struggling Artist podcast community. All right, it's time to get out of here. Matt was cool enough to let us debut a song. This song actually comes out tomorrow of the release date of this. So you guys are getting it early if you're listening on that Monday. So here it is, Matt Pless debuting The Day They Come For You. Until next week, take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you then.
Will you still believe they're on your side? Will you ask me for a place to hide? Will you meet me at a compromise the day they come for you? Will your voice be proud or shake with fear? Will your silence echo loud and clear? Will you hope and pray someone will hear the day they come for you? Will you stand behind a righteous cause? Will your virtue flag conceal your flaws? Will you persevere against all odds with everything to lose? Will your trust betray me with a kiss? Will your God forgive you for your sins? Will it even matter in the end? Whatever road you choose, what you gonna do the day they come for you? Will you turn and look the other way? Will you think that I'm your enemy? Will you do what you expect from me the day they come for you? Will you mock me from your soapbox throne? Will you laugh and cast your glass house stones? Will your truth be yours and yours alone the day they come for you? Will you name me broker of your pain? Will you point your finger, place the blame? Will you realize we all bleed the same, or find a new excuse? Will your shoulder stab me in the back? Will your sound foundation start to crack? Will your footsteps scatter with the rats when faced with the accused? What you gonna do the day they come for you? Will you walk a mile in my shoes? Will you see me from my point of view? Will you die beside something to prove, or what you thought you knew? Will we learn from history's mistakes? Will we change the course the future takes? Will our common groundwork pave the way? The only